is CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Lauren Pastrana, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Right off the top, several kids are recovering this afternoon after eating candy that made them really sick at the Boys and Girls Club in Lauderhill. CBS News Miami's Ted Scouten has the details.
We are learning more about what kids here at the Boys and Girls Club of Lauderhill took yesterday that made some of them sick. Dozens of kids are back here today for their after-school program. According to a Boys and Girls Club spokesman, it appears that a child brought cannabis-infused gummies, similar to this one here, from home and shared them with other children. In all, 8 kids were involved in this. They're between 6 and 8 years old. According to police, 2 of them were treated here and 6 were taken to the hospital. We're told it appears everyone will be okay. That's according to investigators. Police tell us so far there are no arrests in this case. Coming up later, we'll speak to an expert about how to keep your kids safe in situations like this. We'll have much more coming up at 5 and 6. In Lauderhill, Ted Scouten, CBS News Miami.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
We got a nice Thursday going on, but a few showers have popped up this afternoon. Next Weather meteorologist Cindy Pressler joins us now. Cindy, will these showers last into the weekend?
I think so. I think just a few of them. This is overall, it's a dry pattern, so we're not going to see a lot of rain out of this. But my goodness, hot today. High so far has been 91 degrees. So we're getting the sea breezes coming in both sides here, but we have an easterly flow. So the East Coast sea breeze is making its way inland now. A couple of showers were up earlier here in Broward County. That is pretty much dissipated, but it's Miami-Dade. You can see the outflow coming out of these little showers. So yeah, more than likely it'll be across southern Miami-Dade. There is a little pool of moisture sitting at the surface, even with all that dry air aloft. So yeah, we have still a chance for those showers. So right now, east winds at about 12 miles per hour. We're expecting it to be an easterly flow today. That's at the surface. Aloft, way up in the atmosphere, our winds are coming out of the northwest, and we still have that dry air, although look how like it wants to kind of push off the coast here, but it is dry enough to keep those showers at bay. Most of the rain at this point. Temperature now 87 degrees in Miami, 87 in Kendall, Homestead 88 degrees, Pembroke Pines sitting at 86. Let's add the moisture to the mix here, so it still feels like it's 96, 92 in Opelika. Fort Lauderdale feels like it's 92 degrees right now, so there is enough moisture to give us that heat index, or feels like temperature. So let's put this into motion, and you can see a little pop-up shower here and there tonight. We're going to see a few, but overall, again, mainly dry. Again, by 9 o'clock, a couple of showers popping up. We had one last night that came in from the Atlantic, so that's the case again because there's some of that moisture that's sitting underneath the dry air. Friday again, a few showers Friday evening, and then finally that's going to clear on out. But as we head into Saturday, we are going to see more of those little pop-up showers again, but overall low rain chances. So this is not going to be a big rainmaker until we get a front in here that does not have a lot of moisture to work with. That will happen over the weekend and into next week. So the flow coming out of the east northeast, just a few of those spot showers developing because of the moisture that's trapped underneath. Here comes a frontal system. We'll just call it a frontal boundary because the air on the other side of it isn't much cooler than the air out front of it. So we'll have the chance for some showers and storms into early next week, and as the front comes back, that'll increase our chances as well. So your forecast, rain chances going up as we head into the weekend and next week, but for now, look for a mostly dry pattern. Temperatures topping out in the upper 80s to lower 90s, higher rain chances next week.
Thank you. Terrifying moments out of Northwest Miami-Dade. Police are searching for clues into a double shooting that sent a man to the hospital in critical condition. CBS News Miami's Peter Dench has the latest.
This is where one of the victims was taken after being shot in the arm. 2 different police departments are working together trying to determine if the crimes are connected. Now, Miami police say they received an alert just after 7 in the morning about the man shot in the arm near Northwest 15th Avenue and 68th Street. Then Miami-Dade police say they responded to another scene just 3 blocks away at Northwest 14th Avenue and 71st Street, where a man was shot in the head. Police say he had no identification with him. We spoke with Miami Police spokesman Mike Vega about their case.
Our officers responded and located a man in his 40s who was shot in the arm.
You know what provoked it at this point?
Yeah, we're still reviewing cameras. We have our real-time crime center that is reviewing the camera footage. We do have a description on the suspect. We're looking to see if it's linked. We're working together with Miami-Dade to see if both of these incidents are linked to each other, if this is the same shooter that shot at both people. if anybody saw something, if anybody has cameras in their house that captured this moment at approximately 7 a.m. today, to please contact the city of Miami. We need to put this person behind bars.
Miami police say a camera in their real-time crime center captured a possible suspect running away, but they are not releasing a description of him. As they try to determine if the cases and the crimes are connected, they are urging anyone with information to call Miami police or Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers at 305-471-TIPS. At Jackson Memorial Hospital, Peter Dench, CBS News, Miami.
The race is on to replace Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House, with members aiming for a vote as early as next week. Despite Congress being in recess, Majority Leader Steve Scalise, who's undergoing cancer treatment, and House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan declared their candidacies. And there's another potential contender. Oklahoma's Kevin Hern threw his hat in the race. CBS News Miami's Natalie Brand has the latest from Washington.
How are you feeling this morning?
Less than 48 hours after Republican Congressman Kevin McCarthy was ousted as Speaker of the U.S. House, the race to replace him is ramping up. House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan of Ohio, a vocal ally of former President Trump, was the first to announce his candidacy, arguing he believes he can unite the conference.
My politics are entirely consistent with where conservatives and Republicans are across the country.
House Majority Leader Steve Scalise of Louisiana, who's currently undergoing treatment for blood cancer, is also in the race. He says he has a track record of leading House Republicans.
This is really important that we get this right.
And Oklahoma's Kevin Hern, a lesser-known lawmaker, says he's also considering a run.
How do you unite the conference?
Well, you listen first and you see what the issues are.
House Republicans are expected to hold a candidate forum next Tuesday, and members are hoping for a vote on who will fill the vacancy by the middle of next week. Until the next speaker is elected, the House is paralyzed by politics, unable to conduct business with a looming November deadline to avert a government shutdown and an ongoing fight over additional funding for Ukraine.
More than anything, we need to change the poisonous atmosphere in Washington.
While the next speaker will be forced to work with Democrats in a divided Congress, their first task will be trying to rally support within a divided Republican House. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And we invite you to join us tomorrow for CBS News Miami Morning Edition. South Florida Congressman Carlos Jimenez will join us live to talk about the chaos at the Capitol and the race to become the next House Speaker. That's tomorrow morning on CBS News Miami. And this week's Miami Proud also celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month. Meet the new executive editor at the Miami Herald when we come back. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Today's Miami Proud also commemorates Hispanic Heritage Month. The Miami Herald has a new executive editor, and he's from right here in South Florida. His own story is one of illegal immigration, working from the bottom, and now rising to the top ranks of one of the nation's largest newspapers. He shared his story with CBS News Miami's executive producer impacting communities, Tanya Francois.
30 years ago, Alex Mena was answering phones, taking baseball scores at the newspaper he now leads. Today, he still answers phones, but it's in his own office and as the newspaper's executive editor.
Alex Mena's story begins in Hialeah, but his journey to get to South Florida isn't as simple to tell. It started at 11 years old on his father's back as they fled Nicaragua to avoid being forced into the military.
My father and I don't know how to swim. But we needed to get across, so my father told me to get on his back, and, we were crossing, Rio Grande. And I still remember the stories that my dad said that, the water got up to his chin.
Along the way, the Menas faced danger, but there was no turning back.
We saw, people in uniforms. I can assume it was Mexican police or military that came in and took our coyote away. I mean, they beat him, what it looked like to me, 11-year-old's eye, to death.
It was 1994 when Mena crossed the Rio Grande to Hialeah. By 1992, Mena was a graduate of Hialeah Miami Lakes. He went on to Miami-Dade College. That's where his passion for journalism was sparked.
A professor, David Mervis, was the advisor at the Falcon Times. That's the Dade North student newspaper at the time. He saw something in me. He saw, I guess, a drive, a willingness to work hard.
3 months later, in February of 1993, the Herald needed a clerk.
I'm doing box scores for, NFL games, for baseball games.
For 30 years, including a 2-year stint at the Sun Sentinel, Mena would climb.
I got the opportunity to become the assistant sports editor for Broward High Schools. And that's when I started saying, maybe I can be the deputy sports editor someday. Then I become deputy sports editor, and I said, well, maybe I can become the sports editor or the 1A editor, or the production chief or the news editor, and I became all of those things.
And now he's even more.
I want to be known as the person who made sure that we profile the people who make a difference, in our communities.
Mena says just being able to make it in Miami makes him Miami proud.
That's my Miami story, a Nicaraguan immigrant who marries a Cuban daughter of an exile family. It's Miami.
Mena says in the short term, his goals for the Miami Herald remain the same. That's to hold elected officials accountable and continue to do the hard news readers are used to. The Miami Herald and CBS Miami are news partners. In the newsroom, Tanya Francois, CBS News, Miami.
Quite an inspirational rise to the top there. The power of CBS News Miami and the CBS News Miami stream are always at your fingertips. We're on Pluto TV also, and it's all free. Or you can find us on your favorite streaming device with the CBS News app, then click CBS News Miami. And that's CBS News Miami's Quickcast. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS Miami.